It was a dark and stormy night, typical of those that shroud the American school with an aura of mystery. The wind howled through the bare trees, creating an unsettling atmosphere while the moon illuminated the deserted campus. Mr. Anderson, a passionate and devoted teacher, was still in his classroom, immersed in his work. The clock struck 1 in the morning when the first strange sounds reached his ears. At first, he thought it was just the noise of the wind or some nocturnal animal. But the feeling of being watched grew stronger. He decided to investigate, wondering if some student had decided to wander the school at that late hour. He grabbed a flashlight and headed towards the empty hallways. As he walked, the sounds became more distinct, barely perceptible footsteps, hushed whispers, and a chilling cold that enveloped the air. His flashlight revealed dancing shadows on the walls, creating spectral figures that seemed to move in sync with his accelerated heartbeat. In the remotest part of the school, Mr. Anderson heard a distant melody, like the sound of a piano in an empty room. The allure was irresistible, and the teacher ventured deeper into the darkness, following the melody that seemed to come from a forgotten past. The temperature dropped even further, and his breath turned into vapor in the frigid air. The flashlight cast ghostly shadows on peeling walls, and doors slammed by the wind. It was then that he clearly heard the voice of a child, uttering his name in a tired whisper. Surprised and uneasy, Mr. Anderson headed towards the source of the voice. With each step, the piano melody intensified, accompanied by a childlike laughter that seemed to float in the air. Classroom doors opened and closed on their own, as if the school was awakening ancient entities. In the heart of the night, Mr. Anderson found himself in a dark room, illuminated only by a faint light. A piano played on its own, and the shadow of a child appeared on the keys. The laughter turned into a desperate plea as the childlike figure turned to gaze at him. In the grip of terror, Mr. Anderson fled through the labyrinthine hallways, pursued by sinister laughter and incomprehensible voices. Every door he passed seemed to open onto dark worlds and spectral visions. The American school at that moment was a theater of otherworldly horrors. When he finally returned to his classroom, silence resumed, and the moonlight filtered through the windows. The piano melody vanished into nothingness, and the child's laughter dispersed into the darkness. Trembling and shaken, Mr. Anderson wondered if what he had experienced was real or just a nocturnal nightmare. Even today, the story of the night in the American school lingers like a shadow in Mr. Anderson's mind. The hallways remained witnesses to what transpired, and those who dare to explore them at night are warned to beware of the spectral presences that lurk among the desks and lockers. The school, shrouded in its mystery, continues to conceal unfathomable secrets that only those with the courage to confront the darkness can discover. A group of college students decided to challenge fate and spend the night inside the old, now abandoned city college, a red brick building that had witnessed decades of laughter, studies, and perhaps even dark secrets. The group's leader, Jake, convinced his friends to join him in this nocturnal adventure. He was the self-assured type, always ready to defy conventions. With him were Stephanie, his intelligent and bright girlfriend, Brian, the athletic guy, and Sarah, the dreamy artist. They entered the building through an open window at the back, their curiosity at its peak. Moonlight filtered through broken windows, casting ghostly shadows on dusty corridors. The silence was oppressive, broken only by their stealthy footsteps. They decided to explore the library, a place of wisdom and, as legends told, paranormal presences. The books seemed to watch them with invisible eyes as they flipped through the pages of old volumes. A rustle in the air made them feel like someone, or something, was observing them. As they traversed the corridors, Sarah noticed a painting that seemed out of place. It depicted a dark figure with eyes following their every move. The macabre art was so detailed it almost seemed alive. Emily, with her knowledge of symbols, noticed an ancient glyph beneath the painting, but they couldn't decipher its meaning. The group decided to head to the theater hall, a place of performances and shows that had hosted moments of joy and tragedy. Broken chairs and abandoned old set pieces created an eerie atmosphere. Brian jokingly mentioned the possibility of past actors' ghosts still performing in the darkness. The cold of the night became more pronounced inside the theater, as if an icy shadow had taken residence. Jake, stubborn as ever, suggested a game. Try to summon a spirit using an antique mirror they found backstage. As they stared at the reflection, laughter turned into an anxious silence. Flickering lights and wind howling through cracks in the walls created a surreal atmosphere. Suddenly, they heard footsteps coming from the stage. A flash of fear crossed their eyes, but Jake urged them forward. The group followed the steps, leading them to a hidden corridor behind the stage. A rusty door opened slowly, revealing a dusty room containing forgotten objects and faded photographs of old shows. A cold wind blew through the room, slamming doors and windows. A shadow materialized in front of them, a figure with a distorted appearance. "Abandon this place," it whispered with a spectral voice. It was the soul of an actor who, according to legends, had tragically lost his life on stage. Terrified, the students tried to escape, but the door slammed shut, trapping them in the room. Tension filled the air as the figure approached slowly. Emily, with her intelligence, remembered the glyph beneath the painting. In an act of desperation, she repeated it aloud. A flash of light enveloped the room, dispersing the shadow and opening the door. When they finally emerged, the school had returned to its abandoned state. The students, with clouded minds, looked around, wondering if they had truly crossed the boundary between the world of the living and the dead. Their nocturnal adventure inside the college had revealed a dark truth, a story of passions and tragedies that continued to live through the centuries. And as the rays of dawn pierced the sky, the group walked away, carrying the weight of the secrets that the night had unveiled. It was a September night when the campus transformed into a dark theater, ready to host the drama of fear. Emily and Alex, an adventurous couple, decided to explore the hidden corners under the pale moonlight. The building, with its imposing architecture and empty classrooms, seemed shrouded in mystery. Their passion for the unknown led the two young individuals to venture into the deserted gymnasium, a place that echoed with shouts and laughter during the day, but turned into a silent stage at night. As they crossed the gym, their footsteps echoed in the emptiness. Emily noticed an abandoned violin on a chair, a shadow of a past orchestra. A distant whisper seemed to emanate from the instrument, a melancholic melody intertwining with the night wind. Curious, Emily and Alex decided to follow the sound, leading them to the college football team's field. The usually lively ground, animated by passionate matches, was now a dark and silent expanse. But the violin continued to play, as if an invisible musician was weaving notes in the darkness. On the football field, they found a hooded figure standing in the center. The sound of the violin seemed to come from her. They approached cautiously, and the figure revealed the face of a woman with a ghostly appearance, her eyes glowing with an eerie light. The woman, in a hushed voice, told them a tale of tragic love and loss resonating through the centuries. It was said that she was a wandering soul bound to the violin, and now, seeking redemption, she played her nocturnal melody. Emily and Alex, fascinated and frightened, listened to the woman's story, feeling the sorrow of her notes penetrating their hearts. They decided to follow her, guided by the sound of the violin. The woman led them through deserted rooms until they reached a secret chamber in the heart of the campus. The walls were adorned with faded photographs, witnesses to lost loves and shattered hopes. With a melancholic gesture, the woman pointed to an old piano in the center of the room. She asked Emily to play a redemption melody. With trembling fingers, Emily accepted the challenge. The sound of the piano merged with that of the violin, creating a symphony of emotions. As the last note faded in the air, the room seemed to vibrate with ancient energy. The hooded figure smiled, her face illuminated by a soft light. She slowly faded away, leaving the violin abandoned in the center of the room, silent. Emily and Alex found themselves alone in the room, surrounded by the story of love and pain. They left the room, feeling the weight of the emotions they had just experienced. The campus returned to its nighttime tranquility, but the two lovers knew they had crossed the boundary between the real and the invisible, witnessing a supernatural performance that had touched the deepest chords of their hearts. As they left the campus, the sound of the violin dissipated in the night wind, carrying with it the memory of an enchanted night, a night where the past intertwined with the present through the magic of music and mystery.